Just take a look at these hungry eyes. Baby, let me tell you something. The lustful eyes was lusting last night. Baby, let me tell you, if you don't know nothing about that dirty dancing, okay, then I don't know if we could be friends, friend. I don't know if we could be friends if you don't know nothing bite that dirty dancing. That's where that song Hungry Eyes comes from. And I could not resist the temptation, okay? And that's the optimal word right there, okay? Um just take a look. Let me pull it up for you again. I mean, just look at them lusting. Baby, when I tell you Love and Marriage Huntsville is the gift that just keeps on giving, okay? Keeps on giving. Notably because they got so many episodes. All right. We are talking about season 6, episode 29, feeling protected and using protection. Okay. Um, but looking like to me, Tisha might need some protection from these good old hungry eyes, these lustful eyes, baby. Um, so listen, we're gonna get into that part of the episode in just a bit. For those of you guys who may have missed it and have no idea what we're talking about, all right. But for those of us in the know, we see each other. Okay. Um, Sky Squad, we back in the building. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. And please also tap and smash that like button. Okay. Smash that like button like you're looking at Latisha with lustful eyes like Martell. Okay. Allegedly. Let me put the alleged badge up here. Okay. I mean, it's all in the graphics for me. Okay. It was all in the graphics. It was the graphics for me. It's the graphics for me. So, let me see. What am I going to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm thinking about my level of amusement for this particular episode. There's a part of me that I'm going to give the episode a 9. 8 or 9. 8.5. 8.5, 8.9, 8.9, 8.9, 8.9. Let me tell you why. Is this pregnancy like situation like a storyline gone off the rails? Like in my mind, in my mind was Tisha like, oh, you know what? This will be fun to talk about, with Kimmy. And then suddenly everybody else is looking like, girl, maybe this ain't the one. That's kind of what it feels like a fun little thing. Ha ha ha, he. I thought I could be pregnant. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought initially, but then she does say that no, something really is going on. Okay. And maybe something was going on, and maybe she thought the pregnancy story thing was gonna be cute or whatever. I really don't know, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. What I do know is it is not doing her no favors. Okay. Now, we'll get into my thoughts about Marsau's reaction to it in just a bit. So let's break the episode on down. All right. We are still in Houston. For those of you guys who may be just catching up, the group is in Houston. Everybody is there except for Kiki. Yet. All right. And it's dinner time, and Courtney and Stormy arrive with the baby. Apparently, they missed their flight, and the babysitter also missed the connecting flight. So the group jokes about Maurice's viral interview with Carlos. And Kimmy's issue with him was that it took him so long to figure out that he said something wrong. And I'm like, that was your issue? That it took him a minute to figure it out? And Mel comes in with the slam dunk because she's like, actually, no, for me, it mattered more that he felt that way at all. Okay. Is that how he really feels? And I was like, I 100% agree. Okay. I felt like Melody, when it came to everybody else, she was firing on all cylinders because I felt like she was saying, like, kind of like what I was thinking as I was watching the episode. So Maurice admits he put her in a bad position, and they all clap him up. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, Fido. Like, it was kind of like, oh, well, let's reward this man for finally realizing that he been doing this one. He been talking about this lady wrong all this time. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm screaming, protect Kimmy at all costs. And he's out there just throwing her under the bus, rolling over her with the bus. Mind you, it's a Greyhound bus at that. No disrespect to the Greyhound riders, okay? Actually, I was gonna give you a worse bus, but if you don't live in DC, you might not be familiar with it. Anywho, Nell and Tisha then asked Martel if why, like, is you wearing your old wedding ring? And then they get to asking Mel, well, is that the old wedding ring? And Mel is like, I ain't looking at his hand. I don't even see him. Is he here? And Martel is like, just wishful thinking. And Nell is like, you think Mel gonna take you back? And I was so grateful to Marsau for shutting this conversation down, okay? Because I was like, it was about to go where I really did not want it to go, with some Mel and Martel hopeful dialogue. And I was like, I really am, I can't do it. I can't do it no more. I can't do it. I can't do it no more. So for Courtney and Stormy, I guess God said go, because they was like, oh, babysitter at the airport, we got to go pick her up. Because in my mind, I was thinking to myself, that y'all couldn't call the Uber for her. She couldn't get an Uber. Y'all can arrange for no ride for her, so she can either come pick up the baby and then go to the house. But I guess they was like, again, God said go, and we gonna go, okay? And actually, that's the truth. When God tells you to go, you need to listen, because when you don't, He sure enough will move you. Can I get an amen? Thank you. You're welcome. You will only get that if you saw Beverly Hills this week, okay? Meanwhile, or last week, which one was it? I don't know. Anyway, I ain't reviewing that show. So, anywho, for some reason, Marsau volunteers to watch the baby, and everybody is like, Marsau, you don't even watch your own kids. What you doing watching their baby? And then the replays of everybody talking baby, 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 baby. Oh, and Marsau is like, Tisha, what you tell these people about this baby talk? And she looking like, what? Mel is like, you trying to have another baby? And so at that point, Tisha's like, let me tell y'all the story. So she get into telling the story about how she was feeling sickly. The last time she was feeling sickly like that, she was preggers and expecting. So she did what any reasonable person would do. She took a pregnancy test. Why not? Even though her husband has the vasectomy, she thought, well, maybe a couple got through there. And so, then she gets into how he thought she might have been the cheating. So Kimmy has to talk her through why physiologically this might not be possible, okay? For him to have fathered that child. And in my notes, I wrote storyline going wrong. Okay. Because it's about to fly off the tracks. So Tisha's like, do you trust me? He says, I have a lot of trust for you, but essentially he trusts science, Mo. And science for him would dictate that he is not the father of that baby. Well, there is no baby, but said baby. And that's the thing. He'll never know because she's not pregnant. Did she cheat or did she not? I'm gonna save my thoughts on him till I get to the part where I wrote it in my notes. So hold on, but I want to know what you think about what he think. So Mel is like, girl, he trusts you about as much as he trusts himself, baby. I was like, doggone it. Dr. Melody Rogers is on the pulpit, baby. Okay. So anyway, before we get there, Tisha is like, she's never given him a reason to make him feel like she has stepped out on him. And Mel sticks up for Tisha and says, that this is not going to turn into a treat Latisha like she's been cheating on you when you know you haven't, when you know she hasn't been. And I really did feel like in this moment, the two of them had come a long way, because I felt the same way in my mind. I felt the same way in my mind. Um, Marceau doesn't trust her more than he trusts modern science, as I said earlier. And Mel is like, well, she's entrusted you through back photos, accusations of 20 women's, um, Atlanta accusations, everything else that Miss Wanda done said, all the things. And they definitely go through all the things that she done had to trust him through. But I'm gonna tell you, and when we wrap this thing back around, why he feel like she might have cheated, oh baby, it's good. But I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save it for those of you ain't seen it. I'm gonna save it, okay? Because it's good. So anyway, Tisha's like, well, I've had to believe what you saying, and you want me to have blind trust. Nell ends up cutting the conversation short and tells the men, y'all going somewhere because the women's, we about to go out to the pool or something. But was Nell even at the pool? She was at the pool. Never mind. I changed. She was at the pool. So ladies go down to the hot tub or whatever. Mel comes down with the sunglasses, and Tisha's like, oh, girl, you looking like Martel with them sunglasses on, because Martel been wearing the sunglasses, I guess, because he had the eye surgery or whatever like that. I actually want to have like a little eye surgery myself, because I have heavy eye folds. And so, anyway, this is not about me. And so, anyway, Mel is like, oh, why do people keep bringing up his name with my name? So Mel, Mel get to, taking the Instagram photos and stuff like that. And, everybody's like, oh, yeah, girl, you doing the thing nowadays. And she's like, well, I'm enjoying my time being single. You know what I'm saying? And suddenly we learned that she was with a man, Martel, that had never made her have the orgasm. Okay. And in my mind, I was like, now, the way you would think that he was running around talking about how much sex he need, factually, he seemed more concerned about getting, how can I say this in a politically correct way? He seemed more concerned about her putting her mouth on his clunker. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah. And so then as I think about it, her putting her mouth on his clunker ain't doing her no bit of satisfaction. That's all his satisfaction. So by reason, I'm able to deduce that maybe, just maybe, he is the selfish lover. And so actually, then when you take a step further, you probably have to wonder, is baby mama satisfied? Maybe she get the satisfaction from putting the mouth on the clunker. But then they got a baby. So maybe he do a little something. Maybe he fertile. I don't know. What y'all think? Let us know in the chat. Meanwhile, I was kind of wondering, is she just saying that because she annoyed with him? But then I was like, I'm pretty sure it might be a lot of women out there that have experienced this phenomenon or not experienced it. Chime in the chat if you have never experienced the orgasm. And I'm just interested. Like, you could be we family around here, baby. I'm just interested to see how, like, what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know in the chat. So anyway, because for men it's different. Okay. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. So literally. So anyway, the ladies are all in disbelief. She wanted him to talk nasty in the bedroom because that gets her going. So any of y'all men out there, if you wanna get yourself a little Melody Cherie, you better be like Sweet Tea, slide up in them DMs and let her know talk a little dirty to her. You know what I'm saying? Okay, just talk a little dirty to her. Tell her like Sweet Tea said to Dr. G, I give you what you need, baby, and then proceed to write down all the things you would tell her in the bed. Okay, that might work. Now, don't tell her I sent you. I'm just giving you some suggestions. That it might get you blocked, but I want to know if it worked. Anyway, this is going in a totally different direction than I thought it would. So take none of what I say seriously. So anyway, she says that the sex was not at the forefront of their relationship. Not like Maurice. And Kimmy's like, well, he's not even like that. And I'm like, Kimmy, you trying to say this, man? Because that would it look like. Because every time he on the screen, that's what he talking about. Okay. Now it may not be like that for you, but it definitely is like that for him. You know what I'm saying? Um, so Kimmy feels like Maurice didn't protect her in some way, shape, or form. I'm assuming during that interview with Carlos, because he was saying something about Kiowa. I didn't really understand that part. Um, Basically, she don't feel protected by him, and apparently, he did not correct the situation when she talked to him about it. And Mel reveals that she too felt unprotected as a wife, but Martell also never tried to correct it. Now, Latisha is over there simmering at the hot tub because she's starting to reflect on how it is that she so blindly is trusted and protected Marsau, but it doesn't seem to go the same way. And in real time, she reveals that she's going to have to meet with him now that this trust situation has come up. So Nell is like, do you believe Marsau when he said he would leave? Or do you think he was just joking? And Mel is like, you need women in general. We need to start listening when these men say stuff because we be dismissing it and that be their truth. And Letitia feels like she does believe that he would leave her. So the guys are playing dominoes, and Marsau wants the guys to advise him about what to do about the situation with Letitia. Personally, in my opinion, I would have initially thought he was just carrying this thing too far. I still feel like that, to be honest with you, because I feel like I just don't think she's cheating. It just don't seem to make no sense to me. But whatever. But it seems like he does. Again, we'll talk more about that in 1 second. So Chris basically tries to reason with him about, maybe why she felt like that since she felt sick. That was a familiar feeling for her. And he's like, well, that would be like saying, you know, oh, he thought he had an STD. So he went to go get an STD test, but that won't really, he didn't really have an STD. But my thing is this, and I was trying to save this because I'm like, they go through this whole rigmarole about this whole situation. I kind of felt like, why would she bring this up if she was trying to hide the fact that she was cheating? If she was cheating, why would she bring up the pregnancy test at all? It doesn't make any sense to me for you to be that upset. Like, how dumb do you think she would have to be? Like, I just can't foresee a woman setting foot on reality TV, cameras rolling, dollies up, okay, mic pack on, for her you to sit there and say, knowing good and well that you've been cheating, oh, I think I might be pregnant. Like, what? And that's why I stated I felt like most women, they typically wait or they typically know that they're pregnant before they actually show of taking a pregnancy test on camera, simply because usually they have chosen to wait at least 3 or so months before they get to telling people about it to make sure that they're in the safe zone. And Letitia has had several kids. So in my mind, that is what seemed to make the most sense from what I have seen and heard in the past, right? However, here we are. Regardless, I still don't think it makes any sense for a grown woman to announce on national television that she thinks that she is pregnant and then have been cheating on her husband the entire time. Like, make that make sense. It just doesn't. It's not computing to me, but that's just me. Okay, just me. So, in this STD analogy, I just felt like it was apples and oranges because I felt like, I mean, I guess I can see where he's coming from, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is something to it. Okay. Let me know what you guys think. So of course Martell is on the cheating train. He's like, see, for me, it's easier for oh, no, no, no. Martell thinks that he does think that, she was cheating or whatever. Or that is what it could have been. But I wrote in my notes, for me, it is much easier for a cheating spouse to think that their spouse is cheating because they would assume that the other spouse is doing what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that Martell probably does think that Melody was cheating because it would help rationalize what he did. And of course, if he's busy in the streets while he's married, then of course he would think that. Okay? I mean, it just makes sense psychologically speaking, right? If you're doing it, you're busy doing it, you would of course think that the other person is doing it, right? Um Martell is like, well, she's basically not pregnant, so you will never know. And I wrote in my notes, I felt like he was carrying the situation too far because I just feel like I'm not even married to Latisha, and I don't feel like she cheating. So make this make sense to me, especially when all the times that she stood by you after you have been accused of cheating, and it's been photos of your back out there allegedly. Like, sir, sir, you need to give her the same grace that she has given you. Anyway, Maurice goes back inside. No, I'm sorry. Marsau goes back inside and he goes to the room and he rolls his eyes at Latisha and he's still confused about why he's the person who is in the wrong here. And she's like, all the stuff that people have said about you. And she's never said she doesn't trust him. And we get all the flashbacks, the 20 women, the back, Atlanta, all of the things. And she goes in about how faithful she's been to him and never given him a reason to doubt her, and she's hurt. And he tells her that she is gaslighting him. And I think at this point she's in tears. And at first, that's why I said, is he joking with her? Like, is he is he being Marsau right now? But are you still being Marsau and you see your wife crying on the television? Anyway, he tells her he is not the dude that just woke up yesterday. He got common sense. And at that point, she's like, I'm going to sleep in another room. And Latisha, I do not blame you. Okay. Now, you might have should have thought about this in the beginning, but here we are. So because he's carrying it like this, I do feel like I would have either went into another room, got a hotel, or left altogether. You want to play these games? Fine. I'm gonna show you how to play a game. Let's play a game. Okay. Saw style. So at that point, Maurice can hear them yelling in their room. Okay. She walks out the door and Maurice tries to talk to her, and Marsau is trying to shut down their conversation, but he ends up getting shut down and they talk for a bit. She tries to explain what she was going through and why she thought what she thought. To be honest with you, like, most people tend to know their bodies, right? And so if a feeling that feels familiar to you washes over you, biologically speaking, if the last time you felt like that, I can reasonably assume why she may deduce that. But coupled with the fact that he's had the vasectomy, I kind of feel like, I don't know. Maybe she wanted to just rule out every possibility and just thought it would be fun to joke with Kimmy about it or to talk to Kimmy about it. But then to then take the pregnancy test, I think that is where things have fallen apart, right? But in reality, I still don't understand why he thinks this. But we're gonna get the understanding in just one second. So, 2 hours later at 2:30 a.m., Maurice is stalking the halls. And in the heat of the night, we see Martel bringing in a woman. In the heat of the night and the static of the wall camera, we see Bolo. No, it's not Bolo. We see Martel sneaking in some young lady, some young tender Roni. Ladies, would you like to be filmed with Martel being ushering you into the heist at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Anybody know anybody down to Houston? Was that you? Are you watching this video? I want to know. Anyway, Maurice notices and Martel notices Maurice noticing him. The next morning, Martel sans his lady friend and his sunglasses, though, stopped by Marsau's room. Tisha has slept in another room. Good for you, girl. Marsau thinks that this is Marsau thinks that she's gaslighting him. And I wrote in my notes, this is so silly to me. Martel says, do you really believe that she's cheating? And Marsau thinks that if this is where we get to the real issue. Marsau reasons that if for 5 to 6 years, people have been coming to Latisha about Marsau cheating on her with all types of documentation of like pictures and things that don't quite necessarily prove it, but at least would be enough to elicit suspicion, then he reasons that perhaps this could have affected her and decided to make her then go out and do the same thing that everyone is accusing him of, including the person he's talking to in this scene. Okay? Who really was the reason why we all were thinking that he was cheating in the first place? Because he said that there were 20 women's. So anyway, as Marsau is talking to the person responsible for all of this, Martel then, of course, being the evil genius he is, said, did you ever check her DMs? So then Martel, in his confessional, gets to hypothesizing. Tisha's looking good. I quote, Tisha's looking good. Got a new body. She out the house. The clothes is looking more skimpy. Marsau better put her back in the house. He better watch that one. Now, as he's saying this in his confessional, with the lusting eyes, the screen pops up with images of Latisha looking all good, body tight and right, Martell's eyes glistening, lips moist, thoughts maybe lusting. I don't know, baby. But it was all feeling steamy to me. Okay. So anyway, but the funny thing that he said was to me was Marsau better put her back in the house. What is she, a doll? Okay. Marsau thinks it's more possible for a wife to step out on a husband than for the vasectomy not to work. He also thinks that 99% of wives out there aren't faithful. So if you think that 99% of wives out there aren't faithful, what do you think about 99% of the husbands? That would be my question in response. Okay? Because that wouldn't be my first thought. Like, babe, you're not pregnant. Like, oh, you're not pregnant. Okay, cool. Like, I mean, usually the vasectomy works, but I just wouldn't assume that, especially if she's coming to you telling you she took a pregnancy test. So anyway, this conversation is intercut with Latisha talking to Kimmy, who is basically, getting her glam done. And, Kimmy is trying to tell her that most men can't take their wife cheating, but also, too, you taking this pregnancy test, knowing that he had a vasectomy, is probably going to give him cause for pause. And Kimmy tells her just to give it some time or whatever like that, as Martel is asking Marsau, well, what are you going to do about her? Are you going to talk to her, apologize? And Marsau is like, I ain't doing none of that. Okay. So then we switch scenes to Nell and Chris. They want the group to do some team building. So it's game time. Okay. So they setting up the room for the game. But Nell need to talk to Chris. Because ring, 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 Kiki called. Hey, Nell. Yeah. I heard that you guys were down to the Houston. Okay. Kiki don't sound like this. I'm making this up. I heard that y'all was down to the Houston, but I was feeling like I belong there too. So I'm gonna come. Nell is like, well, girl, I don't know. That might look a little cray-cray because you got issues with your cousin when you gave her the splashdown, not in the name of Jesus. So I don't know, baby. And Kiki's like, well, I'm gonna come anyway and just come with humble apologies. How about that? I'm on the plane now, girl. See you later. And so off she goes. So she relays this to Chris, and Chris is like, she couldn't wait till we got back home to do that. She gonna do that here. Now they gonna be thinking that we funny. We just getting into this group, girl. They gonna kick us out already. Okay. Because apparently Kiki already in town. Kiki, do you love me? So she gets snippy with him because he's like, you need to figure this out because you invited her. So then Chris reveals, well, Martell had somebody come over to the house in the heat of the night. Okay. I get a little access to the money. I don't know what made me think of that. Anyway, so she's like, he could have took that somewhere else. Okay. Mel is in this house. Chris is like, so if Martell want to bring some hoes in this house, there's some hoes in this house. If he want to bring somebody to the house, they divorced. He can do what he want. She got a brand new name. Okay. And so Nell is like, head to the no, no. It need to be some respect put on it. Okay. Truthfully, I doubt Mel would even care one lick. Okay. I don't think nobody cared, to be honest with you. Would I care? I don't know. I mean, I ain't really too keen on getting a house, inviting a bunch of people, and then having somebody extra come into the place that I don't know. Because Airbnbs, they be real sticklers, okay? And they be having the cameras on the doors and things like that, counting the amount of folks who done been up in there. And then let's say something get damaged and old girl has stepped her foot up into the room and she didn't cause some damage that I can't see. Then it's the technicality of it all for me. In theory, would I have an issue with him bringing somebody over? No. But because I understand how the Airbnbs work these days, okay? And they got the fee, all the fees, okay? And it's all sometimes it be documentation, but those types of houses, baby, let me tell you, got a house down to the Palm Springs. They had all type of paperwork for me to sign and fill out in order for me to stay in that house, okay? And so just because I know all of those things, I might have a problem with it. And I might have to tell him, listen, you want to go get down and get busy. I don't really care what you do. Take that ish someplace else in a place that you did not pay for. Now, see, again, because it's production, I don't know. Production might have paid for the house. But I'm just saying if it was reality, like I know this is reality TV. Excuse me. But if it was in our real lives, I know how that stuff go down. And I know how I feel about that, especially if I got the house, okay? If I got the house, you need to be running people by me. And I don't play about that. I don't like it when people do stuff like that. I think it's real classless and tacky, okay? So if you one of those types of people that want to bring extras over, then you go get your own Airbnb. You go get your own hotel room. You do what you need to do. Ain't nobody stopping you, but don't you be bringing nobody else and their madness and their bad energy into my space. Okay. So anyway, um, so they get to getting on the bullhorn and calling everybody downstairs, and so everybody get to coming. And so they're gonna have to tell them that Kiki is about to pop up like a jack in the box. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section down below. I'm super interested in knowing what you guys feel about the Marsau and Latisha situation. I'm interested. Let me know in the chatterization. I will, of course, be reading your comments and looking through and perusing to see what y'all think. With that being said, I will catch y'all in the next video.
So, Desiree Davenport, What are you hoping to accomplish with this show?
Honestly, I've lost everything in the most horrible way possible. And listen, I want it all back. I'm willing to build it piece by piece, and I mean brick by brick.
Oh, honey, she is done. I bet you a Burke and she doesn't last all season with us. Just watch.
I'm Misha Hill, and I'd like to consider myself the matriarch of this dynamic group of ladies. I mean, someone has to keep them under control.
I'm Davita Delaney.
I mean, I think I could teach these ladies a thing or two about how to get and keep a good man.
They said she was a gold digger. She ain't you there for me.
I'm just really looking forward to being surrounded by other empowering bosses.
Yes, I know exactly what she's doing. And if she keep playing in my face, I'm gonna have to let her off her dirty little secrets just like she did to me. And I'm not playing.
Let's get this straight. If I brought you into this circle, I just as easily can take you out. She ain't running nothing over here, okay? She needs to be worried about running that household and worried about why that husband of hers is never at home.
Oh, hell.
Ooh, child, this is about to be a mess.
Oh my God, I hate mess. What in the world did I get myself into?